Well, we've been teasing it all morning. An all-new time slot, same great show. Newsmax primetime host Greg Kelly is moving to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Starts tonight. This as we get closer to the 2024 election season.
All right, despite that prime time there, he has gotten up early for us, so we appreciate that. Greg Kelly from Greg Kelly Reports joining us live here in studio on National Report. Greg, good to see you.
Sean, Emma, thank you so much for having me. Thrilled to be on this show. You guys do such an amazing job. I watch every day.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, and so many people watch your show. So many people have this interest in your show. They'll tape it, and you were in this different time slot. You've now moved to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. But what do you think it is that draws so many people to Greg Kelly Reports? It is such a popular show.
Well, thank you very much. I am proud of the show. We have a great team, and we have the freedom to kind of talk about things that other media groups are afraid to talk about, and I think we do it in a very compelling way. It's, you know, I learned all the rules of broadcasting throughout my career, and I also know when it's okay to break the rules and to throw out some of the patterns and templates that a lot of folks in mainstream media live by. So it's an exercise in freedom, and it's a celebration of freedom, is how I like to think about it. And I'm glad that people like it, including, well, look, something else. We tell the truth about President Trump. And so many people are either horrified by him or they hold their nose around him. And I decided long ago, I want to learn from this guy. I want to study him. And we can learn amazing things from this once in a lifetime, once in a country's lifetime president.
Well, you just had an exclusive interview with President Trump. It was after he had his mugshot taken in Georgia. And so that was a really interesting conversation that you shared with the former president. What do you think it is about Donald Trump that the American public, or maybe the mainstream media, tends to miss?
Number one, there are three things. Well, number one, there are three things to understand about Donald Trump. And I don't think, once you kind of come to terms with this, he is much easier to understand, and he makes sense. And I think their prejudice could be kind of dispelled. Number one, he's not a politician. You have to remember that. You know, he did not grow up as a politician. He did not spend his career in politics. He is not a career politician. That makes him inherently unique compared to just about everybody else we see. Number two, he is a billionaire, and billionaires operate on a different frequency than most people. And sometimes it's celebrated, like Steve Jobs. Oh, what a genius, you know, and he had his eccentricities, and they were celebrated. With Donald Trump, oh, everything, they're horrified. And number three, he's a New Yorker, you know, and we haven't really had an urban president like Donald Trump in centuries. You know, they generally come from the Midwest, or just a more bucolic setting, and this is a rough and tumble guy from New York. And those three issues, if you remind yourself, it explains a lot.
You know, you're talking about the upcoming election, the 2024 election. I mean, there's so much to cover about that. Obviously, Donald Trump being the front runner within the GOP primary. But in terms of your show, let's talk media. Do you cover the scopes on your show of how the media portrays potentially Trump, Republicans, and how that's seen, different viewpoints such as MSNBC, CNN, et cetera, all the different outlets out there? Because so many viewers have so many choices out there and so many viewpoints, including your own.
So even conservative media can fall prey to mainstream media think. Now, you may remember, and it goes beyond politics, it goes to culture, it goes to race. There was that situation, and it was disturbing and horrible, but there was a fight at that dock in Montgomery, Alabama. And everybody kind of made an instantaneous judgment, you know, this side bad, that side good. And the drive-by media is what Rush Limbaugh used to call it. But if you actually stood around and maybe watched that tape for all 20 minutes, you would say, wait a second, that disrupts the story I've been told. So does that. You know, the media, they fall in love with a narrative, because a story, a narrative is easy to tell. You have a good guy, you have a bad guy, you have a start, middle, conclusion. Life is a lot more complicated than that. And, you know, there was a woman, she happened to be white, she happened to be just an innocent bystander, and somebody grabbed her by the hair, dragged her and threw her in the river. Now, the person who did that happened to be of a different race. And somehow, well, we're going to ignore that because, I don't know, does it put people in an uncomfortable position to tell that part of the story? It doesn't put me in an uncomfortable position because that actually happened. And context and perspective is something the media does not specialize in providing. It's something I like to do.
All right, and that's what you'll see on Greg Kelly's show. Greg, thanks so much for coming on National Report today.
Emma, Sean, anytime. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, 9 p.m. Eastern, folks. Tune in or set your DVRs. You'll see him tonight. It's going to be some good stuff. All right.